What's happening, battlers? Trainer Ramco here. In today's video, I'm going to show you my first local Sinister Cup tournament that took place Friday, October 11th at LFG Royal Oak, hosted by my local community, the Clawson Berkeley Battle League. With this tournament, I ended up going 4 wins with my team: Medicham with Counter, Power Up Punch, and Psychic, Bastiodon with Smackdown, Stone Edge, Flamethrower, Steelix with Dragon Tail, Crunch, Earthquake, Cresselia with Confusion, Aurora Beam, Future Sight, Alolan Marowak with Fire Spin, Bone Club, Shadow Ball, and finally Drifblim with Hex, Ominous Wind, and Shadow Ball. Coming into this first round, I lead off with my Marowak, and I have Drifblim and Medicham in the back. So I bring out my Marowak, and he brings out his Poliwrath. And Poliwrath, without Hydro Pump, is not that bad versus Marowak. Bubble still can do a lot of damage, but I'm going to go ahead, not shield his first move just to see what he has, and it is Ice Punch. And Bubble Ice Punch Poliwrath can still sort of do a lot of damage to, do a bit of damage to Marowak, but I'm going to go ahead, bait that first shield with the Bone Club, and I'm going to go ahead and hit that Shadow Ball, see if he shields it or not. I'm going to go ahead and go for that Excellent. He does not shield it, but I think I decided to burn one of my first shields here because I know I can take down Poliwrath. Even though Fire Spin isn't super effective or neutral, it still does a lot of damage to Poliwrath. So he brought in his Marowak, and I think he probably thought that, just him bringing in his Marowak wouldn't, or would just take down my Marowak with, since it has 1 sliver of health, but it didn't happen, so I was able to get off a charge move on that Alolan Marowak and get rid of that last shield. I bring in my Drifblim. I'm going to go ahead and shield his first move, and it is Bone Club, so he did bait me. But all I'm going to do is get to the Shadow Ball here so I can take it out in 1 hit. There goes the Marowak, which 2 shiny flexes, not bad at all, but I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Counter Power Up Punch Medicham, which it is kind of, I realized after this tournament it's risky to run because since you don't have Dynamic Punch to do a lot of damage, you're going to have to try and get off as many Power Punches as you can. So I'm going to go ahead, keep building up the energy, but it doesn't matter at this point because this one last Power Punch plus 1 more counter is going to take down that Steelix. And that is GG's for the first match of round 1. Coming into round 2, I lead off with Bastiodon, and I have Cresselia and Medicham in the back. Gonna go ahead, use Bastiodon. He brings in his Alolan Marowak like I predicted. So, again, really jealous of that shiny, man. Like, I wish I had a shiny Alolan Marowak, but he brings in Bronzong, and I'm not sure which to bring in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a Flamethrower. And Cresselia, I don't think it loses to Bronzong. I'm not sure. But since it doesn't have any, dark type moves or anything, it's not going to do a lot of damage. Look, that Side Shock did barely anything. Cresselia is just that good. That's why I chose it as my Confusion user for this cup. So I'm going to go ahead and let whatever this is go through as well. It is Bulldoze. Does a little bit more damage, but I'm still not that concerned. I'm going to go ahead and build up some more energy and use that first Aurora Beam. Maybe get him to shield or, just take down the Bronzong. And he does let it go. And he brings in Marowak. I'm going to go ahead and try to get off Future Sight here. And I'm getting a little bit better at the Psychic pattern because Psychic pattern is actually probably the easiest one for me so far besides, the Grass, the Flying, and the Water Swiping patterns. But my Cresselia does go down. I bring back in my Bastiodon. And I decide not to shield. It's a Bone Club, and Fire Spin, Bone Club, Alolan Marowak does do a lot of damage to Bastiodon, but that Marowak is gone. He brings in Poliwrath, so I'm going to go ahead. I think I switch out immediately to my Medicham just so I can take it out, but I don't know why he shielded that because he really didn't need to. But I'm going to go ahead and shield up here because it's Poliwrath, and I can just take it down with 1 Psychic. Going to go ahead, go for that another excellent Psychic right here, and that is GG's for match 2 of round 1. And then coming into the final round, I have Medicham, Bastiodon, and Marowak. Hoping that he leads off with the Steel type here, or Poliwrath. Bringing in Medicham, he brings in his Marowak. Not a good situation at all. So I'm going to go ahead, build up the energy, and then switch out. I tried to switch out, and I think I was counting the moves. I think it's just a Bone Club, but I think I got nervous there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Marowak just so he can't. He's going to want to stay in so he can try and do some super effective damage or try to bait me. So I'm going to go ahead, shield that Shadow Ball, and now he has lost quite a bit of energy, so I shouldn't be too concerned about this Marowak getting up to another Shadow Ball. But I am shieldless, and he has both shields, so I'm going to go ahead, get off a Bone Club. And he does shield that, so I am in a bad situation right here, but he does use Bone Club instead of Shadow Ball, you know, just going for the kill. So I'm going to go ahead, try to get up to another Bone Club here and get that off, see if that takes off a shield. And he does shield it. And my Marowak is going to go down, but that means that I can possibly come back in with either of my Pokemon and hopefully just have, you know, a bit of an energy gain. And he is shieldless now, so we're in a better situation than we were before. Him burning both shields on that alone Marowak. He did take a bit of time deciding what to bring in there, and I'm glad I farmed up that energy on that Poliwrath because I do want to take it out with just one Psychic. But it is kind of risky, you know, going for the Power Punch and then going for the Psychic if you're shieldless. So he goes for the Ice Punch, which does a good amount of damage to me, but I'm going to go ahead and get off a Psychic here, and hopefully Marowak comes in and goes down straight with a couple of counters. I'm not sure how much health it has left, but not a lot. And then hopefully he is a Steel type. He brings in his shiny Steelix. I'm gonna go ahead and get off a couple Power Punches, hoping that I'm able to take it down to at least half health, just so I can take it out with Bastiodon's Flamethrower. Gonna go ahead, get off just a great Power Punch. I'm gonna switch out so it doesn't get any more energy. And even if he did hit me with an Earthquake right here, Bastiodon wouldn't go down in one hit, but he uses Crunch instead. He did say this is his first tournament in a while, so I do get, you know, not understanding all the moves and everything, but very well played. Very good team comps and very well played. GG's. Coming into round 2, I went up against Professor Vitali, who had Empoleon in the lead, and I had Drifblim, and then I had Bastiodon and Medicham in the back. And I saw the Sims earlier. I ran a couple of battles, and I saw that Drifblim can actually beat Empoleon, which my team is kind of weak to if it baits the Ominous Wind and gets off the Shadow Ball. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this charge move. He uses the Flash Cannon. I'm going to go ahead and get off that Shadow Ball and hope he doesn't shield it so I can get that Empoleon out of the way. Doesn't shield it, and Empoleon goes down. So the rest of my team is set. And he brings in Poliwrath, which I have Medicham for. So I'm going to go ahead. Probably could have gotten off that Shadow Ball, but I'm going to go ahead and go for the Ominous Wind. He didn't shield that. So I'm going to go ahead and just let my Drifblim go down. It is a Power-Up Punch. So I'm wondering now if he has Hydro Pump. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Medicham there. See if I can just take him down with counter Power Punch alone, because it is very low on health right now. Gonna go ahead and get off that excellent Power Punch. And at this point, I was counting the bubbles and I was like, that's gotta be a Hydro Pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and shield that, and it was Hydro Pump. So you got to make sure you count those fast moves, man. It's really important. But this is the reason why I brought Bastiodon, because Bastiodon can do really well against Gardevoir, you know, Charm user in general, and it definitely resists that Charm very well, and I would say better than Steelix. And it can take any move that Gardevoir can dish out a lot better than Steelix can. So I'm going to go ahead and get up that Flamethrower. He shields it. So I'm going to go ahead and just hope that, you know, he's not able to get to another charge move before my Bastiodon faints him down, and that is GG's for match 1 of round 2. Coming into the next round, I lead off with Drifblim, and he leads off with Marowak. Another pretty good lead here. So this time, I think I'm just going to go... I knew here I should have gone straight Ominous Wind, because it doesn't matter which move you use. It's going to cause shields to go up on Marowak in general. So I'm going to go ahead... I think this is a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to go ahead and shield that up, but it's a Bone Club, so I was baited. I'm going to go ahead and get off... See if I get off... Yeah, an Ominous Wind, just so I can get rid of that last shield. And since Marowak is low on health, it's likely not going to bait me anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and shield, and it is a Shadow Ball. So I'm going to go ahead and get off. He switches out to his Poliwrath, but I'm going to go ahead and keep my Drifblim in there. And then I think I still have Bastiodon in the back. So I'm going to go ahead. He's going to try and get off Power Punch, so I'm going to go ahead and get off an Ominous Wind. Or another Shadow Ball. So that's why I like Drifblim, because it can get off those charge moves rather quickly. So I'm going to go ahead, take down Poliwrath, brings in Steelix, and I do have Bastiodon and Medicham. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Medicham, and if he decides to switch in, I'm going to switch into my Bastiodon. I'm going to go ahead and get off just a great power-up punch, but one of the reasons why I like Medicham is because it can take strong charge moves like Hydro Pump and Earthquake rather well, if it has quite a bit of health to begin with. So he's going to go ahead, bring in his Marowak, and I'm going to go ahead and just get off Flamethrower here, but I think this is going to be an Earthquake. Yep. So my Bastiodon's gone, but that's okay because I have a lot of energy on my Medicham and a lot of health as well. So this is going to be GG's for this match right here. Just going to go ahead, take it down with counters, and that is GG's for match 2 of round 2. Going to go ahead and bring in my Drifloon again. I think I go with the same lineup, maybe. Dusclops this time, which I'm not that worried about, but because it has Shadow Punches, it can definitely put on shield pressure. But since it doesn't have Shadow Ball, it kind of is a little bit lackluster in my opinion. So like I said, I'm not that worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and get off an Ominous Wind. He shields it, and I get the buff here. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Shadow Ball, but I got too excited. So I feel like I definitely should have gone the Ominous Wind again because he would have shielded it anyway. So I ended up using a lot of energy, in my opinion, for pretty much nothing. So he's going to go ahead and keep going with the Shadow Punches. But then I switch in my Bastiodon because I'm scared to lose my Drifblim, but I should have just stayed calm, gone with my gut, and not give him the switch advantage. So he brings in Poliwrath. Nothing I do is going to deal any kind of good damage to Poliwrath. Should have just gone with the Stone Edge right there, but it's okay. Gets off another Power Punch. Gonna go ahead, go with the Stone Edge just so I can do some good stab damage. Not very effective, as you can see. He's gonna get off at least one more Power Punch right here. Nope, I'm gonna go ahead and get off another Stone Edge before he does. So it is low on health. So I'm wondering if I should have switched out there, but yeah, I'm gonna bring in. I was gonna try and switch out so my Medicham could take the hit, but it is gonna be a Hydro Pump. So we're in trouble here because he does have Dusclops. Oh no, he has a Alolan Marowak, so I could have definitely swept his team if I kept my Drifblim in there and not switched out to my Bastiodon. So that's going to be GG's for match 3, but I already won 2-0, so that's alright. But very well played, GG's, and let's go ahead and get into round 3. Coming into round 3, I went up against S-Tods92, and I had my Marowak in the lead, and I had Medicham and Steelix in the back. So we're going to go up against his Drifblim first, which is, like I said, not a good matchup for Alolan Marowak because anything that Drifblim throws is super effective, and Marowak cannot take super effective moves that well. So I'm going to go ahead, see if I can try to successfully bait him, get off that Bone Club. And one of the things I like about this cup is that it's very, very, well, it's a love-hate relationship. So I don't really like how it's so bait dependent, but when it works in your favor, you gotta love it. So gonna go ahead and get out that Shadow Ball, see if he shields it. He doesn't, so we're in a pretty good position right now. His Drifblim is gone. Gonna go ahead, he brings in his Fire Spin Alolan Marowak. So my Steelix is in a bit of a tight spot. I'm gonna go ahead, see if I can get rid of that last shield. But my swiping animation goes away, but that's okay. So because he shields it anyway, and then he's gonna try and just get off a charge move here to get rid of it, so he can't take any more damage. It is a Bone Club, so he does have a bit of energy saved up. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Steelix, but the thing is about Steelix is that anything that's shieldless going against Steelix is pretty much in trouble. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off that Crunch, and like I said, Alolan Marowak can't take super effective moves that well. Gonna go ahead and hope that just Dragon Tails can take it down, but Marowak survives by just a sliver of health. And then his Marowak goes down, and he brings in his Claydol, and that is gonna be GG's for me because I don't have Ice Punch on my Medicham, and without Ice Punch, Claydol completely walls Medicham. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get off that first Power-Up Punch, and then just do as much damage as I can, but he uses Earthquake, just finished me off, and that's GG's for match 1 of round 3. Coming into match 2, I have my Marowak, and then I have Drifblim and Steelix in the back. So he leads off with his Drifblim again. Not a good lead matchup again, so we're going to go ahead, see if we can bait him. That wasn't the amount of Fire Spins needed for a Shadow Ball, but I'm hoping that alone can bait that first shield. So I'm gonna go ahead, get off that. Just a great Bone Club, but he does shield it, so we're not in trouble just yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off another Bone Club, and he does shield that one as well. So now we're looking pretty good here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just not gonna shield my Marowak. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I bring in my Steelix here. Yep. So he can tank whatever moves that Drifblim has to throw, because I really don't want Drifblim to get off any moves on my Drifblim. So we use a Shadow Ball. It does a good amount of damage, but I'm gonna go ahead and build up the energy, and he swaps out to his Steelix, hoping to absorb the charge move, but it didn't work because I saw that switch coming. I'm gonna go ahead and just get off a Crunch here, hoping that it doesn't get to a charge move, and this Crunch alone should take out Steelix. So very good. We're still in a very good position right now because Steelix didn't land any moves on my Steelix, and he brings in his Claydol, which is why I brought double Ghost. So I'm gonna go ahead, get off that Shadow Ball, take out that Claydol in one hit, get that excellent Shadow Ball, and his Claydol is gone. And then now I can just take down that Drifblim with Hexes alone. That's GG's for match 2. Coming into match 3, I have Marowak, Drifblim, and Medicham. So hoping that we get a positive lead matchup here. We got the screen of white for a second, but that's good. He has Steelix in the lead. We do have a bit of lag here. He switches out to Poliwrath. So not a bad matchup. I do have a bit of energy saved up. So I'm going to go ahead and get off that Shadow Ball, see if he shields it. And he does. So I can't remember if I switch out here or not. So I'm going to go ahead and just take... No, I shield that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get off another Shadow Ball, see if he shields that as well. And he does. So now he is shieldless, and I'm going to go ahead and just let my Marowak go down. But because my Marowak didn't die right there, now he has 2 bubbles ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Medicham, because since he has Ice Punch, I don't want to give him the advantage. But also he switches into his Drifblim, and now he has a couple of hexes ahead of me. But that's okay, because I do have a shield, and if I get to a Shadow Ball, that Drifblim is going to go down. So I'm going to go ahead and get out that Shadow Ball, see if we can hit that excellent. So this match is going to be very, very close. So now I'm shieldless, he's shieldless, we both still have 2 Pokemon left. He brings in his Poliwrath, and he gets off an Ice Punch, and I didn't think he would have another Ice Punch ready after this, but he does. So it's going to be very, very close. Really hoping on Steel type in the back, or something that Medicham can beat. So I get off that Power Up Punch, and I get another Power Punch ready, and it is Steelix, so it's going to be very, very close. If Steelix lands an Earthquake, then that is GG's for me, but since I have a couple Power Punches ahead, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can just get it down as fast as possible. I'm going to land another Power Punch, and it's going to be very, very close, and unclench. That's GG's for round 3. Coming into the final round, I went up against Honored Genius 42. I led with Marowak, and he led with Marowak as well. And I think, yeah, I had Medicham and Bastiodon in the back. So it's just going to be a straight mind game here. Going to try and go for the Shadow Ball, because usually people try to go for the baits if they match up with their energy. They want to save the energy, but he shields that first Shadow Ball. And he gets me with the bait Bone Club, so I'm going to go ahead, see if I can get off a Bone Club here to bait that second shield. But I'm worried he's going to get off a Shadow Ball here, and he double baits me. So definitely fell for all of that. But I'm going to go ahead and get off that Bone Club, see if he shields it, and he does. But at this point, he has more energy than I do, and he's going to be able to get off that Shadow Ball and take out my Alolan Marowak. So we are not in a good position right here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Bastiodon. And Fire Spin Alolan Marowak with Bone Club can still do a decent amount of damage to Bastiodon if you're able to come in with a lot of energy, or you guys are equal in health. So I'm going to go ahead and just farm down that Alolan Marowak, and he brings in Primeape. So I'm going to go ahead and get off that Flamethrower, and because of how squishy Primeape is, I'm going to go ahead and try to swap to Medicham, but I'm not able to because I kept having switching issues right there. But I'm going to go ahead and take out that Primeape and hope that he has a Steel type in the back. And then probably should have gotten off that Power Up Punch, but I'm going to go ahead and see if we still can. He gets off that Night Slash, but he brings in Bastiodon. Great matchup for us, but because I'm low on health, I gotta make sure I take out that Bastiodon before it gets to a flamethrower. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep hitting his power punches, keep him rolling, see if I'm able to do enough damage to take it out before he gets to flamethrower. Now we're able to hit that last power punch, and that is gonna be GG's for match 1. Very well played, and I didn't think about doing double baiting techniques, but that's a very solid strat. We go into another mirror match here with both Steelix, and then I have my Medicham and Cresselia in the back. The problem with this team is that the only counter to his ghost types would have been Steelix, so I should have tried to save it more here, but he does bait me with that. I shielded it up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit the Earthquake. Hope he doesn't shield it, but he does, so now we're in the same position that we were in match 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's probably gonna be another Earthquake. It's probably gonna be an Earthquake, but it's a crunch, so he double baited me again. So he is a huge fan of the double bait strat. Probably should have tried to go with a crunch and then Earthquake right here, but I don't think I had enough energy to do that in the first place. But now we are both shieldless, but he's able to take down my Steelix with 1 Earthquake. So my Steelix is down, and if he has a ghost type back there, I am so in trouble. He brings in a Alolan Marowak, and I have energy on my Medicham, but it's not going to be able to do much. So I bring in my Cresselia to tank that Shadow Ball, and hope that I'm able to get up to a future sight to take that Marowak out. It is a Bone Club, so we're able to. I know we're able to get to a future sight right here. So I'm going to go ahead, see if we can hit that excellent future sight, and the Marowak is down. And I thought he was going to bring back in his Steelix, but he brought in Cresselia. So if I still had my Steelix and if I hadn't fallen for the double bait, maybe this matchup would have gone differently. But because, you know, my Medicham has Power Punch, Counter, and Psychic, I cannot do anything to that Cresselia. So that's going to be GG's. He's going to hit me with the Future Sight, and that's GG's for match 2 of round 4. And then coming into the final round, I have my Marowak, and then I have Medicham and Drifblim in the back. So bring in Marowak, and we finally get a good lead here. We get Marowak versus Cresselia. So I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna go ahead and double bait him. See how he likes it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off that first Bone Club, and I have a lot of energy built up. So he does shield that. And he said he was a little bit stressed about this, so he knew he could take it out with possibly a Future Sight. But I'm going to go ahead, see if I can double bait him again. And it works. So we are in a very, very good position right here. Going to go ahead and get out that Shadow Ball, and that should take down the Cresselia. And then he brings in his Steelix, which I have Medicham for. So I'm going to go ahead and get out that Bone Club because a couple Dragon Tails at this point would take out my Marowak. But we are still doing a lot of damage with Fire Spin. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Medicham here to see if I can just take it down with counters alone. But I figured he was going to try and bait me here. Even if it was an Earthquake, Medicham wouldn't have gone down that easily. But I thought this was an Earthquake here, so I shielded up. And then I'm going to go ahead, get out that first Power Punch, and hopefully hit hard whatever he brings in. But it's Marowak, so as soon as I saw that, I switched out to my Drifblim to see if I could try to beat it to the Shadow Ball. But I was right there, but we CMP tied. And this is going to be very, very close. But because I powered up my Medicham with Power Up Punch, I forgot that I was freaking out here, but I thought I wasn't going to be able to take it out because I thought he had quite a bit of energy built up. But because he used a Shadow Ball, he wasn't able to get to the next Shadow Ball. And that is going to be GG's for the final round. Huge thank you to LFG Royal Oak for hosting our tournament yet again. And then thank you to everybody who showed up for this tournament, because I know we had a couple of new faces, and that's what I really like to see, is just to have new faces, more interest in battling, and making PvP communities a little bit bigger, and hopefully in the future, making our tournaments a little bit bigger. So, like I said before, thank you to LFG for hosting, thanks to everyone who came out, and then thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one where I'll show you my ranked Sinister Cup, which I didn't do so well in, but, still had a great time, and there are some really close battles there. But like I said, make sure you stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, guys.